welcome to my channel. I'm Emily, the Petite Beauty Blogger, and in today's video I'll be doing a full face using Makeup Revolution. So if you don't know who Makeup Revolution is as a brand, they are a great brand that have more budget friendly makeup, but you can still get some great products, and they have many different categories onto the brand. So they do makeup, they do the special effects, and they also have skincare. So I will be starting off with skincare, and as always before every makeup look I do, I add some moisturiser, and this is the Revolution Skincare, which is the hyaluronic acid moisturiser, and it's an overnight hydrating mask, but I like to use the strong stuff normally because my skin is very dry, and funnily enough I've had this for a while but I've never used it, so this is the first time I'm going to be using it on this channel. I'm going to be using about that much, like a pea-sized amount, and I'm going to massage this in. Now normally I do go in with my Bare Minerals, but that is an expensive moisturiser, so if this one is just as good for a third of the price, then I'll love it. The moisturisers, you can feel it sinking in. Yeah, quite happy with that. So the first thing I am going to go in with is the Revolution Pro Pore Primer. Now I do have pores on my face that you can see from space, so I do love a pore primer, but I do feel sometimes with pore primers they can be quite drying, and I look for a more moisturising primer. So I've never used this before, so I hope it doesn't do that to me. So let's just check it out. Oh, okay, that wasn't good. Maybe I think you might have to shake it first before you open it. That came out very liquidy and watery, so let's hope it hasn't done the same. I'll give it a mix. So it is more of, I don't know, the watery side I want to say, but I don't know. Okay, so I've put about that amount on. You do have to mix it quite vigorously before you open it, otherwise it will just splatter out water, which wasn't very appealing. But let's rub it into the hands. Oh, still sorry. It feels quite velvety, but it does feel kind of greasy. So we'll have to see how it works with the foundation, because that is the true test. So I'm just going to press that in. It does feel like it is sinking into the skin, which is good. I feel like with a lot of greasy primers they just sit on the top, but no, this one is sinking right in. And we're going to move in and see if you can see. My pores have shrunk a tiny bit. Obviously it's not professional, but it does feel not too bad. It feels quite moisturised, not as drying as I thought it was going to be, quite velvety. I'm quite surprised. So before I go in with any foundation, I'm going to go in with some colour correcting. Now this one is the green one, and this is for if you have any redness. And here we go, I've got an orangey one, and that's really good for getting rid of any dark circles or any dark spots. Now if you get a tiny bit confused with colour correcting, if you look at the colour wheel, I'll put up a picture of a colour wheel here for reference. Whatever colour you have, so if you have purple in your face that you want to get rid of, you go opposite the colour wheel, which is yellow, and yellow will be the one to cancel it and remove it. So you've got to use the opposite colours on the colour wheel that cancel each other out. So green is opposite red, so if you have any redness it's going to get rid of that. So I'm going to put some around here, around my nose, because that's where I get it a lot, and my chin. And I have just had to open this. It's new, I've never used it before. So let's see how it works out. not too shabby. So I've done my green. I am now moving on to the orange, and I am going to use this underneath my eye because I woke up very tired this morning, and let's hope it doesn't leave too much of an orange cast. I'm not going to use too much because you don't need too much, and also I don't want to ruin this look if it does mess up. So going in with my sponge again. Okay, these are quite thick and creamy. They're just like the concealers, so what I'm going to try and do is blend these out as much as possible. And for foundation, I'm going in with the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate foundation, and this is a medium to full coverage foundation with hyaluronic acid. Now this is going to be the first time I'm also using this, so this really is a lot of first impressions for this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the back of my hand. I'm actually going to go in with the Revolution Pro stippling brush, which you know full well I love. So let's see how well this works. It doesn't smell nice. That's one thing I have to say. It really doesn't smell good. Actually, you've got to blend it down. Now I will say this is kind of medium to full coverage, so that's good. I know a lot of brands say full coverage and stuff when they're not, so it's always good that it does what it says on the tin. I can't get over that smell. It's horrible. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to see if it covers the orange, because as you can see it's covered the green quite nicely. I will be getting in closer to my eye with a sponge with the concealer in a second, so if I don't get it all out, I'm hoping the concealer might help. But no, that seemed to have covered as much as I can up to my eye. I don't like to use this one too much near my eye because it would just make my eyes water, and I don't want that to happen. So I will get in there with a sponge in a second with my concealer. And I'm just going to grab a foundation brush. This is the Spectrum A03, and I am going to take a tiny bit of foundation and try and cover as much as I can underneath my eyes before I do my concealer, just so it doesn't look too crazy, and we can actually kind of see if the foundation does cover it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. The good pointers are it's dewy, it's a good full coverage, medium to full coverage like it says, it covers well. Bad thing is it smells not great, but it's a cheap foundation. If you're struggling to find foundations in your price range, then this is a nice one. Now moving in with concealer, I'm going to use the obviously the Conceal and Define. If you watched this channel before, you know it's my favourite concealer. It's the only one I use, and this one was the super size and it cost me £7. And of course it has gotten rid of that orange, which I was praying for. No. And of course the next product I'm going in with is the Makeup Revolution Translucent Loose Setting Powder, and you know I've used this a lot on my channel. Loose setting powders can be expensive, hence why I got this one. I think it might have been £10. I can't remember, so I will research it and come back and I'll put it here. This is good for baking. Now I've said this before because I have used this. I have already reviewed it kind of. Now I will say it does work on my skin tone and it does say translucent, but I feel sometimes if I leave it on a bit too long it kind of sets to the face. So if I bake with it, sometimes I really have a struggle trying to fix it, but it can be done. So that is just for anyone, especially those with deeper, darker skin tones. You can try it, but just be warned that it may be a bit harder to fix. And it does set down nicely, and it stops your foundation from slip sliding about. And what I'm going to use now is I'm just going to use my Real Techniques 400 brush just to use it everywhere else, just to set the rest of my face. And there we go. Now I'm going to quickly go and do my brows. So I have moved in a bit closer so you can see my brows, and for brows I've got the Revolution Ultra Brow Professional Makeup Palette, and this is a really good one for pros that don't want to spend as much. There's different shades. Now what I will say, it does come with tweezers and two little mini brushes. So you've got this one, which is a tiny weeny little angled brush, and then you've also got this one, which is more for concealer, as it's tiny weeny, but I may have small hands, but I've got fat fingers and I don't like the small one, so I am going to use my Spectrum A24. And as you can see, there's 4 powders and 2 creams. So I do like to use a cream because I feel like I can be more precise. So I am going to go in with the lighter shade because I feel like that dark is too dark, but they do have a lighter version. So I'm going to outline it with the cream and then fill it in with the powder. So as you can see, it has come off quite pigmented. Now what I will say, this is more of a creamier cream, so I don't know if it is going to slip slide about. Only time will tell. But it feels quite like a watery cream, like it slides on. And as you can see, it's actually coming on quite quick and pigmented. But it does still that slight grease, so I don't know if that's going to be an issue in trying to keep it on all day. Of that one, I am going to go in with the powders to set it, because it might help set that kind of greasiness I'm feeling. So I'm going to go in with that one, maybe that one, and this is just going to help set it down. I think I'm going to just do a mixture because I like the warmth in that one, but I like the cool I like the warmth in that one, but I like the coolness of that one. So let's see if this helps. As you can see, the colour is filling in the hole, so it's like working really well, and it's very pigmented, so I'm really happy about that. And what I like to do is I like to just do short scratchy motions to kind of blend it forward. Yeah, I like the powders. So from doing my other brow off camera, I did find that the cream brow product was quite greasy, but with a lot of products that are greasy, when you start to keep going, it kind of disperses and the pigment goes all crazy. Because although yeah, it felt a bit greasy and waxy, when I kept swiping, the pigment stayed exactly the same and it didn't move. So maybe being greasy for them is a positive, because I'm quite happy with that brow. So now I've done my brows, I am going to go in with the Real Techniques 400 brush to brush away all that extra powder. Now as you can see, that has powdered down nicely, but obviously I have pale skin, so I'm not going to know whether it's left a crazy amount of like a mask, like a layer. So I don't know how good or bad it's going to react with a deeper, darker skin tone. If you have got a deeper, darker skin tone and have used this powder, I'd love to know what you feel about it, because obviously only you can truly know if it works for you. Now for contour, I'm going in with the Revolution, it says blush palette, but it does have two kind of like contoury shades. Now this obviously is definitely for someone with a lighter skin tone. These would not even, these wouldn't work on a deep skin tone, so that's something to remember. So what I'm going to do is go in with the Spectrum 804, which is the contour blending brush, and I am going to go in with that colour because it's a bit darker, but just wanting, it has got a bit of sheen in it, so that's just something to remember. So on first impressions, that's actually pretty pigmented. It's a nice colour. This is probably the darkest I go unless I'm doing a show. Yeah, and it blended really well. It's almost like face tuned my face. Oh my word. I'm quite happy with that. You can't really see any of the glitter that's in the palette itself, which I don't know. If you want glitter, then obviously that's not good, but if you don't want glitter, then that's pretty good. But obviously, you know there's glitter in there, so you're buying it for the glitter. But no, looking in the mirror, you can't see it as well on camera. Maybe you can. It has face tuned my face. That's amazing. I am definitely going to be using this again. So I did go off camera and do the other side, and I love it on the face. I did do some on my nose for contour, and I don't know if you can see on camera, it kind of lifted my foundation a bit, which isn't very good. So for blush, I am going to go in with a different blush palette, because these blushes do have more of a glittery highlighty sheen, and I don't usually like that in a blush, but I use these sometimes for an extra highlight, which can be fun. So the blush palette I am going to go in with is obviously the Revolution one, but this one, it has got more matte shades in it. It has got two shimmery ones, but I love all of these mattes. So I'm going to go in with my Real Techniques 200 brush, which I love using for blush. I'm going to go in with this one. It's a bit darker, and I love it. Okay, that is pigmented. Oh Lord. Blend, 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 blend. Shoot. Wow, okay, that is pigmented. So I am going to veil it slightly with my Real Techniques 400 brush, because I want to dye it down slightly, because I don't want to be too red. As you can see, there is a massive difference. Now moving on to eyes, I'm going to go in with the Revolution Pro Luxe eyeshadow palette, which is the new neutrals. Now I will say I have used this before, and there it is. It's really cute. It's got all the kind of nudes you'd want, and it's got some glitters, and plus it's also got a primer base right there, which I think is actually really smart to put into a palette. So I am just going to swatch a couple of shades for you. So the shades I am going to swatch is Magic and Glitz. For Magic, I'm just going to do the back of my hand. Okay, that is stunning. Oh my word, that is so nice. Oh my god, I can't get over how nice that is. That is shiny as hell. The next one I'm going in with is Glitz, which was that kind of nice gold, and I'm going to swatch it here. Okay, another good one. That is shiny. It's not the shiniest, but I mean, oh okay, no, my mind's changed. That is pretty nice. That is a really nice, just shimmery gold, or Real, which is this gold, kind of bronzy gold there. So let's give that one a try. Put it down here. Oh, That is stunning. That is gorgeous. I want to show you the glitter ranges, because glitters can sometimes be hard to put into a palette. So I did just put that over my knuckles like a fool. But yeah, that is pigment sparkly. How stunning is that glitter? So as you can see, that's actually worked pretty well, and it's kind of sticky, which is what you kind of want with a primer. To start off with, I'm going in with neutral just to neutralise my lid, so it's plain for when I want to start putting colour on it. And Whisper's going to be that really nice transitional shade, and I'm going to apply it. Okay, that's nice. I'm going to go in with a mixture of Karma here and Zoned, which is this one here, because I like the deep purpleness of that shade, but I just love that colour so much, but I want to deepen it a bit more. So I am going to start off with Karma, and I'm using the Spectrum A13 brush, which is kind of like this flat edge tidy brush. It would be perfect for it in the crease. And what I like to do is I like to pack on that colour first, just to get the shade on, and then I will blend it out. And now I'm going to go in with Zoned. Blended it, you can see where bits that may need fixing. Going with my trusty concealer, which is my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Defined, as always. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a dot or two. And I am going to take the Morphe R43 brush, which is this little crease brush, which I love. And what I like to do is I like to apply a tiny bit just here, and I have my eye to see where it ends, which is there, and I follow that line down. There we go. And if you feel like you have gone a bit too far, don't worry. Once we've done our crease, our cut crease colour, we can deepen it back in with that Zoned colour. So for the crease, you can use your finger, or you can use a brush. I sometimes like to use a brush, and for that I'm going in with Magic, because I feel like that was one of the most stunning. So that one was that one right there with that pinky kind of undertone, and I may use that For Real, which was that one, which was a surprising win for me, maybe nearer the outer edge. I might blend them in together. Oh my word. Okay, can we just all agree that is stunning? Whew. I almost don't want to ruin it with anything else. Now I'm going to go in with that For Real, which is that bronzy kind of gold, and I'm just going to blend it in with this, like so. I don't like to use too many shimmers because they can make my eyes look puffy, and I don't want that. But when you have shimmers as nice as this, you go for it. So as you can see, that is blended really nicely with the Magic, like so, and I'm going to blend that out a bit more. And then what I'm going to do now is go back in with Zoned to re-deepen my crease and see if it works well with the shimmers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do my lower lash line with that Zoned, just to help bring it all together. Like so. And I'm not going to bring it all the way down into the centre, because I am going to go in with the Magic colour. So I did go off camera and I did do the other eye, and I also applied some mascara because I don't have any Makeup Revolution mascara. I should probably get on that. And as you can see, yeah, that is a really nice palette. The colours aren't patchy. And moving on to highlighter, they're really good for maybe beginners or people that just really love to try out with makeup. For highlighter, I'm going in with the Revolution Pro Supreme highlighter in Ice, and as you can see, it is very well used, and I always go in with that middle shade because it's my favourite. And I'm going to apply it with the Real Techniques 300 brush, and this says it's a deluxe crease brush, but brushes for me can be used anywhere. Just use brushes wherever you want. So and now you can see why it's my favourite. What I like about this is that it can be blinding, like a blinding highlight if you're going for a more theatrical look, or whether you just love a blinding highlight. But if you put a tiny bit on, it can add a bit of extra dewiness. So if you wanted maybe a face that's going to stay a bit longer because you put so much powder on it, but it's a bit powdery, you can apply a tiny bit on your face in places, like here, like I've just done, and it's added some extra dewiness. Dewiness. I mean, look at that. That is insane. So for lips, I'm going in with Revolution. It's a liquid lip in the shade Memory, and this is a matte shade. And there we go. Now that went on quite creamy. It's quite pigmented. It's a really nice kind of like mauvey nude with like a purpley pinky kind of tone to it, and time will tell if it's matte, and let's hope the matte dries nice, because some mattes do dry a bit crackly, so let's hope and pray. So the matte lipstick has now dried, and it's not exactly the most velvety soft feeling. It is a bit sticky, but I am going to sort that out because I have got the Makeup Revolution lip toppers, and this is in Luxurious, and I will say I have used this before and I was obsessed with it. So I'm going to move in so you can see the full power of the sparkle. And as you can see, that has elevated my look to a new sparklier level. Any lipstick that's a bit too sticky of a matte, then I do apply a lip topper. Now, one other thing I do not have, unfortunately, is setting spray, so I am just going to quickly set it and I'll be back for the final thoughts. So I've set, and now I am back for my final thoughts, product by product. So the first product I went in with was the moisturizer. I did like that. You do need a bit more product, but I put extra product on anyway, so yeah, that one's alright. The second product was, of course, the pore primer. Now, this did start to come out a bit rank, so you do have to properly mix it before you use it to make sure it doesn't come out gloopy, but it worked better than I thought it was going to, and it did help with my pores. So I don't know if I can recommend it. It worked with the pores, but make sure you mix it properly first. And the next product I went in with was the foundation, which was the Conceal and Hydrate. Now, it definitely covered, it definitely hydrated, but that smell was so bad. I really didn't like the smell. So if you can look past the smell, it's a perfect foundation that covered all of my redness and dark circles. And of course I almost forgot, before my foundation I did go in with my colour correctors. So I went in with the green for redness and this under eyes. Now to me the concealer conceals all my under eyes anyway without this, so I don't really have too bad under eyes, so I don't think it made a difference on me. But for someone who has got proper dark circles under their eyes, this probably would work. So blush, which was this one, and as we know it was crazy pigmented, so just be warned if you are going to use that, because one dab in there went a bit psycho, so I did go back in with my powder brush to veil it and to mute it down. And of course moving on to the eyes. Now this is a really good palette for beginners, for anyone that just wants to have a try. I love the idea of there being a concealer kind of like base primer in there. I love that idea. The colours went on quite pigmented, they're not patchy. The glitters kind of spread out a bit, but I'm not mad at that. And of course the shimmers were shimmery as hell. They were gorgeous, and I still got them swatched on my hand. They are stunning. Oh, I'm obsessed with them. And moving on of course to the highlighter in Ice, and I use the yellowy goldeny champagne colour in the middle, and you can see it's pigmented as hell, and it's kind of giving me some dewiness to my face, and this is my favourite highlighter in the entire world. And of course the last product on my list is of course the lip colour and the foundation, which I was worried about. Actually got rid of any pigment that I did not want, so only of the green and the orange, so that's a winner. Moving on to the concealer. As we all know, I love this. It has covered anything that is bad, you know, any blemishes, and it's really brightened and made my day. So the next product I went in with was the powder. I do like this powder. Today it did actually work in my favour, and it did all come off like normal. Sometimes it sticks and it just doesn't come off normally, but today it worked for me, and yeah, I could easily have this makeup on all day. So the next product I went in with was the brows. Now as we know, the cream product was a bit greasy, which I was a bit nervous about. Obviously you're going to be a bit nervous if it's a bit greasy, but I had no reason to be. It has made my brows look really nice, and the powder was, I think, the winner of the palette, because it just really covered any patchiness I had in my brows, and I really like that. So the next product I went in, this was a blush palette, but I used it for the contour. Now I was obsessed. This turned out to be one of my favourite products in the whole video. It really face tuned my cheeks, and it really just made them look fab. I was really surprised by them. So I'm moving on to blush, which was this one, and as we know it was crazy pigmented, so just be warned if you are going to use that, because one dab in there went a bit psycho, so I did go back in with my powder brush to veil it and to mute it down. And of course moving on to the eyes. Now this is a really good palette for beginners, for anyone that just wants to have a try. I love the idea of there being a concealer kind of like base primer in there. I love that idea. The colours went on quite pigmented, they're not patchy. The glitters kind of spread out a bit, but I'm not mad at that. And of course the shimmers were shimmery as hell. They were gorgeous, and I still got them swatched on my hand. They are stunning. Oh, I'm obsessed with them. And moving on of course to the highlighter in Ice, and I use the yellowy goldeny champagne colour in the middle, and you can see it's pigmented as hell, and it's kind of giving me some dewiness to my face, and this is my favourite highlighter in the entire world. And of course the last product on my list is of course the liquid lip in Memory, and some really nice colours, pigmented, it goes on easy and it's good in price. And for the last product was this lip topper in Luxury, and as we can see it's still sparkly as hell and it fixes all your problems, and if you're sad just pop this on and it'll cheer you up. And here we go, there is my full face using Makeup Revolution products. I hope you like the look and I hope you like the video, and as always, if you could please like, comment and subscribe, and if you could check out my website, I will link it down below. I have just updated it, so I've got more portfolio pictures and I've added my videos onto there, and of course I don't usually blog that much anymore, but I do have some useful blog posts, and of course my pro stuff is all on there, so if you could check it out, I'll link it down below. And thank you for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!